Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday morning. I hope everybody had a fabulous Christmas. We did here. Now, this video, again, is so freaking long, I'm going to have to cut it into two parts. So this is part one, and there'll be a part two. Now, before we jump in, I've got a paid sponsor for this video, Atlas VPN. You might have seen this before, but you guys all know what happened to me. This is so important. Just watch this. Let's talk about some online security, shall we? You guys all know who follow my channel that I was doxxed online. You know that my name, age, profession, location, and even my special needs son autism diagnosis was put out on the web. We know who did that, but it could have been prevented. So simple, just by using a VPN. And the VPN provider that I use is Atlas VPN. So what is a VPN? Well, that's simple. It's an encrypted tunnel that nobody can see into, including hackers, the government, and even your internet service provider. This makes sure that your online activity remains private and secure and free from outside interference. Atlas shields your identity from websites, apps, and services that want to track you. While some companies limit the amount of devices you can use, Atlas VPN allows you to use it on unlimited devices. It's also good for streaming. Let's say you're on Netflix in the United States, but there's a show that you really want to watch that's on Netflix in Europe. Just go onto your VPN, change your location, and you can watch TV in other areas that normally wouldn't be available to you. And Atlas VPN is having a Christmas special. You can get it for $1.70 a month with 6 months extra. Wow. Now, the link is in the description box, but just in case you can't find it, you can scan this link. But be fast. This is a limited time offer. So don't wait, you guys. Click the link and get secure with Atlas VPN. Super important information, you guys. Now, we have about 5 large stories to cover today. There's a lot going on. Don't forget, I'm splitting this into 2. So let's just jump in and get there, shall we? Let's go. We are going to start off this morning with Princess Catherine, who surprised a footballer and his coach before the Christmas Carol concert, which was held December 8th at Westminster Abbey. The boy's name is Rico, and his coach is Russell Gray, who's 70, and she discussed with them how important it is to build relationships on and off the pitch. She also met 3 adults who work in the child caring sector, and they talked about how to make a difference in the lives of young people, which of course is the theme of the Christmas Carol this year. Moving on. Sticking with Catherine, but adding William to the mix, the 2 of them are going to be going to Rome in the spring as part of one of their royal tours. How pretty cool is that? The date is not being revealed yet, and they're hoping that it will include a meeting with Pope Francis, who is 87, but of course, nothing has been signed off yet because we know the Pope is not feeling well, and obviously, we hope he doesn't pass before that time. This will be Catherine's first working trip abroad in over a year, and both of them, their first trip to Italy. And it will also be their first appearance on behalf of the government as Prince and Princess of Wales. Next up, Princess Beatrice was spotted out with her husband Edo. I guess they were on a date. People in the street were wishing them Merry Christmas, and they were wishing Merry Christmas in return. They're so cute. If you look at the bottom of her jacket, you can just see the hem of the dress, and you realize it's the same dress she wore to the Christmas Carol concert at Westminster Abbey this year with her son, or stepson, special son, Wolfie. A big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for showing everything she was wearing. Moving on. All right, I wanted to just touch on this. You know that BBC documentary that's coming out? Well, in the documentary, Anne praised Camilla, saying that she has an outstanding understanding of her royal role. Anne said, and I quote, "I've known her a long time on and off. Her understanding of the role and how much difference it makes to the king has been absolutely outstanding." Love it. Moving on. Now, in that same BBC documentary, King Charles makes a joke about his fingers. You know, everybody's talking about how thick his fingers are. Apparently, when they're practicing and they're having trouble getting the catch on his, jacket, and Charles responds, if you have a problem, if you've got sausage fingers like mine. And then at one point, William goes to kiss him on the cheek and says, yeah, the left cheek is better. Now, of course, the articles are coming out. Harry has been cruelly snubbed because he's nowhere to be seen in this landmark BBC documentary. Of course, they forget to mention that Harry flew in and immediately flew out, so there was no chance for him to sit down for the docuseries. And also, they sort of forget to let you know that William also is not in this docuseries. Moving on. Now, sticking with King Charles, he held a party at Sandringham House in Norfolk Thursday night. The people there were the local charity volunteers and others. One of them is the Baby Basics, which is that, baby bank that she was at. And they work closely with the Shaping Us campaign and other people that work with Catherine. Very nice. Now, of course, we were all waiting for the Christmas speech that Charles was going to give. This was going to be the second one. First of all, he used a live tree, which I think is absolutely wonderful. So he gave his speech. It was 8 minutes long, and everybody was holding their breath as to what this speech was going to be about. He talked about the coronation and how all the people at the coronation were people. Basically, his whole speech was about serving others, okay, basically. So it ended with this fabulous choir singing and pictures floating up on the screen, of the whole family: Charles, Camilla, the children, William, Catherine, Sophie, Anne, Edward, all the working royals. You know who didn't get a picture up? You know who wasn't even mentioned? Harry and Meghan. Remember last year he wished them luck in their new life overseas? This year they didn't even get a mention. And I happen to agree with that. They're not working royals. They've tried to damage the monarchy, and I think the monarchy's had enough and they're moving on, which I think is the correct thing to do. But I thought his speech was very moving. It was all about helping others, being good to the planet. Typical message of Christmas. Do unto others as you would have do unto you. Fabulous speech, Charles. Christmas Eve, King Charles, Queen Camilla, Anne, and her husband, Sir Tim, walked to the church service, and guess who was with them? Johnny. Now this was the Christmas Eve service, and this was before the whole family arrived en masse on the estate, and they were walking to St. Mary Magdalene's Church in Sandringham. Now, for those of you who are unaware, that jacket that the king is wearing is his, according to the article, it's his favorite tweed coat. It's about 40 years old. Ooh. And it comes from Savile Row. Well, now I don't feel bad about hanging on to some of my jackets. Like, seriously. Anyway, can you imagine? Harry said he wanted an invitation to attend these festivities, and this is where the king said no. Yeah, I'm sure he did. All right, let's move on now. All right, now the next morning, the royals were out in force walking to church. We saw the king and the queen. I just want to say that I love Camilla's outfit. I recognize that hat. I've seen it before. I just can't place it at this exact moment. And then, of course, here comes Catherine. I love this color blue on her. I don't know what color it is, but it's lovely. You see George, you see Charlotte, you see Louis back there in the back, and notice that he is holding somebody's hand. And for those of you who don't recognize her, that is Mia Tyndall, who is holding on to Louis's hand. Look how cute that is. They're so cute together. I love, cousins, good family. Now, also walking in, we saw Anne with her husband, Sir Tim Lawrence. We saw Zara and Mike and their children as well. Right after them came Sophie with Edward, and I just love this green outfit she's wearing, and I really, really love the hat. Behind her was Lady Louise. Yes, James was there, but I didn't see a good shot of him. Now, here was the shocker. Andrew was there, and Fergie was there for the first time in 30 years. You can also see on the right, there's Beatrice and Edo. We also saw Eugenie and Jack, no children. I guess they're still too young. People really seem to like to see Fergie. Also seen was Lady Sarah Chatto and her family. And also the Earl of Snowdon was there. And as you can see on the right, there's Johnny. All right, so after the service, they did what they usually do. They come down the stairs, they see the crowds, and they walk over. And people there have bouquets of flowers, and they just want to talk to them and wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Now, we did get one good look at James. Wow, he is tall and very good looking. So, and then also as they were coming out of the church, we got another look at Mike and Zara with their youngest daughter, Lena. Mike looked like he was having to wrestle her down. And of course you don't see Zara. She probably walked off and left him to look after the kid. Anyway, of course, all the royals walked over to say hello, including the king. I'm so happy that somebody gave Sophie some flowers. Love it. I was extremely excited to see what was going to happen with the Wales children because, they're older now. Louis is there. He's wearing pants. Like this one picture, he looks so much like Catherine's dad in this photo. It's a little... Anyway, that's George. Look how tall George is standing next to his dad, standing next to his mom. And then, of course, they go down and they start getting flowers and beautiful roses. Mia was down there helping out with the flowers. I think that's really sweet. And even, you guys, Fergie got some flowers. People have really warmed back up to her. It was nice to see, you know what I mean? And it's nice to see cousins hanging out. I love this picture. And a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce, as usual, for putting up everything that Duchess Sophie was wearing and that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was wearing. All right, you guys, believe it or not, that is the end of part 1. We still have a lot to go. Stick with me for part 2. Let's go.